hammer that into our own thoughts. That is the essence of Vedanta. That we have to understand. We not only understand, it has to, like Swamiji said, tingle in every drop of blood. It has to become part of our very life. It has to become the very fabric of our thought. Whenever we feel anything of repulsion or attraction or some feeling of whatever emotion comes up, we have to remember that really speaking, God alone exists. It is the perception of God that I perceive God first, and then I paint this universe on that perception. So in order to solve Arjuna's problem, first Sri Krishna had to put that straight. There is no multiplicity here. There are no two. There are no two things here. That is that rock bottom foundation. If you say I perceive this and I perceive that, you're making three mistakes. First of all, you're saying I, meaning your limited self. You don't mean I in a universal sense. I means the limited being. That's what you mean. So I was wrong. And the fact that I saw you as a separate being, that also is wrong. The fact that I saw that there's a conflict or a problem between I and you, that also is wrong. There are no two anywhere. We have to in every, as Swamiji said, it has to tingle in every drop of blood. God alone is. There is nothing else. That is the conclusion of Vedanta. Now we have to struggle to realize it. Yes, that is true. But if we make that the basis, making that the basis, Sri Krishna is able to convince Arjuna to change his outlook. First was to put this foundational truth here. There's no multiplicity here. There are no two realities here. We have to feel that. I mean, I can say it in so many times in so many words, but it's not really going to go very deep. But next moment I'll think about my particular problem and how to solve it. And when we try to look at our problems and try to solve them, it's always solved in a very small way. I always think of me against you and all the circumstances that surround me and you and what caused all of this. That was Arjuna's problem. Arjuna was considering all these people as individuals. This is my teacher. This is my grandsire. This is how can I possibly approach them and do this horrible thing? So Sri Krishna first has to undercut all of this. No. The first thing, that was the beginning of Arjuna's argument. How can I fight against these people? So first, he has to be put straight. God alone is all that exists here. I may see it as human beings with their various dispositions and problems, but really it is God alone. Every perception of mine is a perception of God. That somehow has to be deep, it has to, Swamiji said, tingle in every drop of blood, it has to manifest itself in every thought, it has to be the basis of all of our perceptions. God alone is here, God alone is what I perceive. And if you can slowly begin to make that a reality, yes, kind of feel that this is true, then slowly you begin to see the reality of it. Well, is that not self-hypnotization? That's the next question. Swamiji turned the tables on that. He said, we are hypnotized right now. This is dehypnotization. We are hypnotized into seeing the many. We have to dehypnotize ourselves to begin to see the one first as the basis. Then we can consider the many. If I see that I am filled with God and you are filled with God, God is the only reality in you. If if I make that determination, then my whole judgment of what I ought to do about my relationship to you undergoes a tremendous change. I can begin to think clearly and dispassionately about this. Maybe there is a problem between me and you. How to solve that problem I can clearly begin to perceive when I see you as what you really are and see myself as what I really am. So this is not a theoretical thing. Seeing God everywhere, feeling the presence of God everywhere, is the most practical way of tackling anything. It's any situation, because that is the basic truth of any situation. We don't experience that, but saints and sages for thousands of years have experienced it. This book has been around for thousands of years. People have verified it again and again. And it's been considered a foundational book of all Vedanta philosophy because of that. If Sri Krishna were giving Arjuna the wrong advice, this would hardly be considered to be such a foundational text. But he starts with that. Then, after having said that, after having convinced Arjuna that this is the first thing to be understood and to be practiced, then you can talk about, okay, under this circumstance I should behave like this. First try to feel the presence of God in it. So what I feel in meditation, I should also try to feel in every perception in life. I should try to feel I've got a problem with my co-workers or a problem with my relatives or whatever. At first I should fill myself with the thought of God and that I'm looking at divinity, I'm looking at their real nature. The real nature of everything here is divine. We make a mistake when we think that the real nature of everything here is anything but that it's material or that it's psychological. Arjuna was a tough nut to crack. Sri Krishna not only could give him the advice of chapter 2 and all the other chapters, in chapter 11 he had to show him his universal form. Look, all right, then I will explain to you in detail what this is all about, And he showed him his universal form, and Arjuna was totally overwhelmed. Okay, all right. Oh, Keshava, oh friend, I used to call you that, but now I see that you're the infinite reality. Please forgive me. Please show me your ordinary form again. I'm totally upset and frightened by seeing this horrific form of yours. But Arjuna saw that everything indeed was filled with divinity, and he saw that all of this that was going to happen on the battle of Kurukshetra had already been been accomplished. Nimitta bhava Arjuna, just be an instrument alone. I have already killed all these kings. I've already done all of this. Arjuna saw these heroes entering the flaming mouths of divinity and disappearing there, chapter 11. That just whatever has been determined to be the proper behavior, do that, and the other considerations are not worthy of you. You've come to this point in order to perform this action, then do that. Don't worry about this is no longer appropriate, this is not the right thing. Everything has been done to prepare for this. Now you're saying you don't want to do it because you're afraid to do it. Face up to that fact and then go ahead and do what has to be done. The fact of the matter is it has already been accomplished.
We're unfinished. And God is already finished. From the beginning, there is nowhere else to go. It is not a becoming, it's already there.
Yes.
So all these actions are out of the idea that we are becoming, that we have to reach something that where we are not. You don't have the land, so you have to reach ownership of new land. You have to convince others of your ideology. Then you have beginnings of awakening, I suppose.
Yeah, because you realize that everything that you really wanted to achieve you already have.
So it is coming home to realize that you have never left.
That's it, that's it. And you never need to leave.
What a relief.
Whatever you whatever you ever needed, whatever any of us ever needed, we already have to the fullest extent, to the fullest degree. We don't need anything. We don't need anything. We already have everything that we need. That is the message of Vedanta.
So we are driven through an infinite number of lifetimes to not understand that properly and to keep on grasping and pushing forward and trying to achieve. So that force that is pushing us, that is the play force. What else could it be?
Yes, that's why they call it, they call it the Leela. Leela Shakti, or it's sometimes just called Shakti. Sri Ramakrishna called it Brahman and Shakti, that is Brahman and its power. So the Divine Mother, the Divine Reality. As soon as we perceive this world, God also comes into the picture. When we see only one, when we see only Brahman, none of these enter. But Jiva, Jagat and Ishvara come together at the same time.